What's up, wrestling fans? I'm Jason Courier, and this is your Quick Pin Wrestling Report. If you're a wrestling fan, but you don't have a lot of room in your busy schedule to dedicate towards keeping up with what's going on in the wrestling world, please click subscribe down below, and we're going to keep you up to date on what's going on Raw, SmackDown, 205 Live, NXT, and Ring of Honor Wrestling, and we're going to do it all within 10 minutes or less each, with the idea being that you could stop by, get your update, go on about your busy day, and then when you've got a chance to sit down and actually watch some wrestling, you don't feel like you're lost or like you've missed out. So, NXT Takeover Chicago was one busy card, so let's get right the F to it. It aired on June 16th, 2018, and the card started out with the Undisputed Era taking on Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch for the NXT Tag Team titles. Great match, awesome way to start, super killer way to start, actually. And the match played out the way the kind of storytelling felt was that Burch and Lorcan actually were going to win this one. And I really felt like as the match progressed, I really felt like they were going to pick up the victory here. I really, truly did. Great storytelling, awesome match, super cool match, great way to start your event. In the end, as much as it looked like Undisputed Era was going to drop the titles, in fact, they even, at one point, Danny Burch, I believe actually it was Lorcan, was going for the pin, and Adam Cole, baby, he interrupted the pin, he reached in, he pulled his Undisputed cohort out of the ring to interrupt the pin, and broke it up. Immediately, he was kicked out of ringside by the official. So the whole match, it really felt like, I really thought the Undisputed Era was going to drop their titles here. In the end, Kyle O'Reilly, they hit the running leg whip and clothesline combo nation and ended up picking up the W. So Undisputed Era defended their titles against Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch in the end. The next match was probably my most anticipated of the evening. It was between Ricochet and the Velveteen Dream. This was one that I thought the lead up to it was amazing. Ricochet did some superhero kind of stuff leading up to this match. The promo that was the anything that you could do, Dream can do better, followed by Ricochet jumping over the top rope, flipping over the top rope, and landing on his feet like he's some kind of fucking superhero. And I thought that shit was fucking awesome. This was a great match. Velveteen came out in his Hogan retro gear. He even did the shirt rip thing and everything. It was pretty awesome. Ricochet had a twisting, jumping suicide dive. There was a lot of high spots in this, tons of high spots. Velveteen Dream at some point was yelling to Ricochet. He said, "You belong in a bingo hall, and I'm a wrestling god." I thought it was pretty funny. You belong in a bingo hall. Not quite there, Velveteen, but whatever. It is pretty awesome. Ricochet then, at one point, he hit Velveteen's own finisher against him. He hit the Purple Rainmaker flying from the top ropes. Then Ricochet hit what was just an amazing shooting star press. He flew like a superhero halfway across the damn ring. And before he hit it, though, Velveteen Dream raised up the knees. The match ended with Ricochet finally hitting his 630 rolling senton splash thing that he does off the top ropes. Absolutely amazing. Awesome finisher. So ding, 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 ring the bell. Velveteen Dream goes down to Ricochet. So down on Ricochet. The next match of the night was between Shayna Baszler and Nikki Cross. Crazy Nikki took her beating quite well in this one, and she took it with a smile even. At the very end of the match, actually, Nikki is in a chokehold by Shayna Baszler. She's got her locked up, and as she's starting to slowly fade away and lose the match, Nikki manages to crack a nice smile and then loses the match. So she lost her match, but it was pretty cool. It was a cool little story that they brought out there with Nikki and Shayna Baszler. Aleister Black defended his NXT Men's Championship against Lars Sullivan next. This one started out with Lars pretty early in the match. He caught a black mass, did the same thing that he did a couple of weeks ago in the promo, or a week ago in the promo, whatever it was. Caught the black mass. This ended up kind of turning into a bit of a slugfest. Lars Sullivan was showing his strength early, did his thing early. It actually took not one, not two, but 3 times for Aleister Black to hit his finisher, the Black Mass, on Lars Sullivan for him to finally go down. But in the end, Aleister Black defended his title and pinned Lars Sullivan to defend his NXT Championship. In the main event, Tommaso Ciampa took on Johnny Gargano in a Chicago street fight. Fittingly in Chicago. How about that? Before the match, it was a pretty awesome moment when Candice LeRae walked out. She grabbed the hand of her husband, Johnny Gargano, and as they had played it up in previous weeks, Candice had said that she didn't want to see this. She didn't want to be a part of watching her husband become what he exactly hates. But then she grabbed her husband's hand before the match and said, "Go kick his ass. Kick his ass, Johnny." It was really, really awesome. A lot of the action took place outside of the ring. Early on in the match, though, Ciampa, he is on the attack on Johnny Gargano. He tries to slip on a pair of really, really super long handcuffs that he found underneath the stage. He gets blocked by Johnny from putting on the handcuffs, but he does manage to get outside the ring, and he finds some bolt cutters underneath the ring, which he uses to cut the ropes that hold the padding down onto the ring itself. He then rips off the padding off the ring, exposing all the boards, which would come into play a little bit later. Action goes to the outside of the ring. A lot of the action went to the outside of the ring. They ended up on these really large crates that they carry some of the equipment into town with, I would assume. They're both sitting on top of these crates, slumped over. At one point, Ciampa takes off the ring off of Johnny Gargano and spits on it and throws it out into the crowd. Gargano then picks up Ciampa into a fireman's carry. He does the running fireman's carry drop off of these crates onto some tables down below. Super crazy point in the match. The emergency crew come out. They put Ciampa on the stretcher. They put him in the neck brace. Johnny Gargano is sitting up on top of the crates, and he's starting to think. He's looking at his empty finger that no longer has the wedding ring that Ciampa has thrown off into the crowd. And now Johnny Gargano's decided he wants to attack Ciampa. He jumps off the crates, runs down, pulls Johnny, takes the straps off, pulls the stretcher down the ramp to beat the hell out of Ciampa some more. He pulls Ciampa into the ring. Gargano then he puts on a submission move onto Ciampa. Ciampa's tapping. There's no official to register his tap, so match still continues to roll. Officials come down running down the ramp in suits. They pull Johnny Gargano off of Ciampa. As they pull Johnny off of Ciampa, Johnny then re-attacks attacks Champa, but Ciampa's now in the handcuffs, right? So he's trying to pull Ciampa into the ring through the ropes, and Ciampa gets a hold of him and delivers a DDT onto the exposed wood that Ciampa previously had ripped the mat off of the ropes in the corner. Off the mat off of the ring in the corner, and ding, 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 he rolls over, like literally rolls over with his limp face and pins Johnny Gargano with his fucked up face. And ding, 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 Johnny Gargano loses. I'm sorry. Ding, 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 Ciampa beats Johnny Gargano, and that is the way the show ended. They ended it with Ciampa walking up the ring, or up the ramp, and he's doing the bye-bye wave. Still same thing that he did to Gargano earlier. So that is the way the show ended. It was super, super, super cool. Great show. I hope you actually get a chance to look it up and watch it. If you haven't, please do. WWE Network. Look it up. Do it. It's worth it. And thank you for listening to your Quick Pin Wrestling Report.